Good morning once again. A very warm welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining our Virtual Winners Roundtable for the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards Singapore. Now, this event is part of the region's most prestigious and industry-leading PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards series, the gold standard in real estate. We're honored to host you today and hope that you will receive valuable insights and tips from our panel of speakers and myself as we tackle the topic Singapore Property Market 2021 COVID Era Prospects and Design Trends. My name is Tan T Kun, TK in short, Country Manager of PropertyGuru Singapore, the official portal partner. And I'll be moderating this Winners Roundtable today. We'll talk about the current state of the Singapore real estate market in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, consumer trends, insights, and outlook from our expert panel members, and the forthcoming Property Asia Property Awards in Singapore 2021. Before we proceed, I'd like to first thank our sponsors and partners for their valuable support this year. So the platinum sponsor, Kohler, our gold sponsor, Mitsubishi Electric, official portal partner, PropertyGuru Singapore, official supervisor, HLB, official magazine, PropertyGuru Property Report, official cable TV partner, History Channel, official charity partner, Right to Play Thailand, official ESG partner, Bandek Foundation, and official PR partner, Clerical Communications. Some ground rules before we hear from our guest speakers. If you have any questions during the presentation, which is the first half of this 1.5-hour webinar, please feel free to type them into the question and answer chat box, right? Towards the latter part of our roundtable, there will be a question and answer session once all the speakers have completed their presentations, and that's when we attempt to address all your questions. Joining me at our roundtable panel today are Mr. Jules K, Managing Director, PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards and Events, Ms. Christine Thorsteins, Partner, Portman Investment Private Limited, and Chairperson of the Judges of the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards Singapore 2021, Mr. Leung, General Manager, Kohler Kitchen and Bath, South and Northeast Asia, our official platinum sponsor, Ms. Yen Chong, Deputy General Manager, Qingjian Group Company Limited, Mr. Dora Chng, Sales and Marketing Manager, Fantasia Investment, Singapore Private Limited, and Ms. Dora Chng, General Manager, Residential, GuocoLand Limited. Thank you to all our speakers for joining me today. Without further ado, let's hear from our first speaker, Jules K. Jules, over to you.
Thank you, TK. Thank you very much. And thank you particularly to yourself and to all our expert panelists for joining us to share your knowledge and insights today. We really appreciate your participation. So, next slide, please. We're here to announce and officially launch the 11th annual edition of the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards Singapore. It's fair to say that the Lion City has become one of the region's most attractive and appealing real estate markets, both in quality and innovation over the last decade. Whether it's design, engineering, sustainable features, or lifestyle offerings, Singapore developers are setting a benchmark for property development in Asia. And this means that the residential, commercial, hospitality, and industrial, more recently, projects that we see entering the Asia Property Awards always of the highest possible standard. Singapore developers and their teams work extremely hard to create homes, offices, shopping malls, and other types of development that meet the needs of a variety of owners, tenants, and investors, and they therefore deserve credible recognition for their efforts by industry experts so that they can share their achievements with their peers and also offer their customers a proven gold standard in real estate development. Can I have the next slide, please? So the Singapore market over the last decade or decade and a half, along with the Asia Property Awards, have grown and diversified. We now cover 12 markets in the Asia region, from China all the way down to Australia. And despite the challenging times, we continue to recognize a constantly improving range of properties in the Asia Pacific region. The judging process we apply is consistent, fair, and transparent. And our annual PropertyGuru Asia Property Award final in December brings together the top developers from around the region to showcase their work and to celebrate their success. The awards series has an unparalleled reputation. You can see its credibility, its transparency, and its longevity give it the edge in terms of quality real estate recognition. Okay, next slide, please. Obviously, the last 12 months or so, a little longer, have presented new challenges. And last year, to ensure the safety of our participants and our judges, we switched to a virtual gala format, which proved to be very successful, as it actually extended the reach of the Asia Property Awards online to give property buyers and agents an inside view of the winning projects. Despite the challenges of the global pandemic, we presented awards in Singapore to an impressive lineup of companies in 2020, with 12 major names in property development making it onto our shortlist. GuocoLand took home the Best Developer title last year, as well as 6 other category wins, and we're proud to have them joining us today on the panel. Other big winners included Qingjian Group, who are also with us today, who won the Best Private Condo Development title, and Fantasia Investment. Again, thank you for joining us. Were awarded Best Strata Housing Development in 2020. All in all, our awards live stream broadcast featured 40 awards in 2020, and in 2021, we're hoping for a similar number of high quality projects and developer entries to join us. This November, with people, hopefully most people vaccinated, we will combine a virtual and physical gala event in Singapore, which will be live streamed around the region to give investors, home buyers, agents, and anybody interested in property a clear view of the most attractive real estate opportunities on offer today. Next slide, please. Now, the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards is not only a Singapore contest, we also recognize the best of Asia. And last year saw projects and companies compete from 14 different markets around the region, with around 87 developers and 35 awards. In 2020, Singapore was the biggest winner with 9 regional titles in the Asia Property Awards. So congratulations, Singapore again. And this obviously included the Best Developer Asia, which once again, as I already mentioned, GuocoLand, a very important achievement on the regional platform. Right before our grand final every year, we also host our Asia Real Estate Summit. You can see at the bottom there. This is when thought leaders, tech innovators, groundbreaking designers, and investors share their expertise and predictions for the future of the real estate sector in Asia. Next slide, please. So it's obviously very important for us to set a very high standard and to create a benchmark for quality in real estate across the region. And Singapore definitely leads the way in that. A detailed judging process is very important to do this. And later we will hear from the chairperson of our judging panel in Singapore, Ms. Kristin Thornsteins, who will explain more about the judging. But as an added level of credibility, we also work with an official independent supervisor. And this year, we're proud to welcome HLB as our supervisor for the Asia Property Awards. Next slide, please. Just to give you a little bit of background on HLB, they're a global network of advisory and accounting firms, 58 offices around the world in 159 countries. Very well established since 1969 with great credentials as an independent supervisor for our awards. Next slide, please. We have HLB representatives in each of the countries where we run the awards, including Singapore, and they're there to ensure that the judging process is fair and consistent. They make sure the judges follow the rule books. They check that the criteria and the entries always match, and they collate the judges' scores to ensure that everything is fair, above board, and transparent, noting any conflicts of interest. Can we have the next slide, please? HLB really provide a layer of detail and credibility on top of the judging process. But what I want to do first of all is pass you over to our chairperson of judges, once I hand back to TK, who will explain how the judges work, how they identify the winners, and how we ensure that we recognize the best of the best, not only in Singapore, but also in Asia. Thanks for your time. Look forward to recognizing some great properties in 2021.
Thank you, Jules. Our next speaker is Christine Thorsteins, and over to you, Christine.
Thank you, TK. Welcome everyone to your computer screens this morning. Like TK said, my name is Christine Thorsteins. I'm delighted to be here this morning to talk about the award and the judging process. I have been a part of the judging panel over the last 3 years, and this time round I had the honor of chairing the judges panel, which is obviously a great pleasure. The judges panel consists of 8 real estate experts. We have architects, engineers, we have sustainability experts and sector experts from sectors such as hospitality. So you can see there's great expertise to judge the different projects. Next slide, please. So as Jules mentioned, this is the 16th edition of the Asia Property Awards, which laurels developers projects from 12 property markets around Asia, including China, Australia, India, and Japan, and obviously Southeast Asia. So this is the 11th time that projects and developers in Singapore will be joining the race for one of the, or several of the 35 regional titles. And to be fair, Singapore has done pretty well in the awards over the years. Like Jill said, Singapore scooped up 9 awards last year, not only the most prestigious award of Best Developer, which went to GuocoLand. GuocoLand actually got 2 more awards, for the Best Mixed Use Development and the Best Condo Development, which went to the Guoco Midtown and the Woolwich resident projects. So as you can see on this slide, the award is divided into 3 main categories. That is developer awards, development awards, and design awards. And then there is a number of awards in each category. And this is a testament to the evolving nature of the award as developers respond to changing consumer needs as the years go by. And the categories that you can see highlighted in green are all new categories that have been added over the last couple of years. And amongst them, I would like to call out awards such as the special recognition that goes to developers that demonstrate high standards of environmental, social, and corporate governance. and the special recognition for sustainable design and construction. Sustainability is more and more becoming the guiding light in developments in the region, and it's only normal that the award takes this into account. And then a new award that will be added for this year's edition reflects the times that we live in, namely the best integrated work from home development, demonstrating the profound and durable impact that COVID-19 will have on the way we live and work. Next slide, please. So I'm going to be talking now a little bit about the judging process, which consists of 5 key steps. First, we do an initial judges meeting, which we just did a couple of months ago. And there we take stock of last year, and we deliberate about new awards that should be added, like I just mentioned. And we welcome new members of the jury. Then we meet again once the deadline for entries has passed, and we review the entries, and we determine an initial long list of up to 7 entrants per category. This we do in the presence of the new official supervisor, HLB, which will ensure that there is no conflict of interest, and that the panel members, there's no conflict of interest between any of the panel members and the competing developers. Then there comes the most fun part of the process, or at least for me personally, which is the site inspections, which take place over 2 quite intensive weeks around end of September. And then we do a detailed inspection of every project, and we meet executives from the developers representing those entries. And we fill out a scorecard with all the criteria, again, under the eagle eye of the official supervisor, who takes care that everything is done in a proper and impartial manner. And the last step in the judging process is a last meeting where we review all the projects that we have visited, and we agree on the final shortlist. And this final shortlist will comprise 1 winner for each category and up to 4 highly commended entries. And these are only revealed at the final gala event. Next slide, please. So the award has an unparalleled reputation for being credible, fair, and transparent. And the entries are evaluated on a strict criteria, which you can see on this slide. Now, the criteria is extremely varied. It ranges from very technical elements, such as use of space, construction, and materials, to more commercial criteria, such as value for money and sales success. And not to mention sustainability, which is also one of the important criteria we judge on. And as Jules mentioned, last year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we moved the award online, which was a huge success. However, this year, we cannot wait to meet in person on the 19th of November and celebrate the excellence of the Singapore property markets. And I look very much forward to see most of you there. We will see how the situation evolves, but it will certainly be a great thing to be able to meet after 2 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine. A gentle reminder to all our viewers, if you have any questions, please leave them in our Q&A chat box, and we'll get them responded to in a couple of minutes. All right. Next, I would like to share some highlights from PropertyGuru Singapore's Consumer Sentiment Survey from the first half of 2021. Just before I begin, I would like to say a few words about PropertyGuru's Consumer Sentiment Study, This is conducted half yearly, and we have been doing so since 2009. This particular consumer sentiment study measures property sentiments and expectations around the property market to help various stakeholders gain a better perspective of the local property market. So the first half 2021 consumer sentiment study polled 972 Singaporeans, and the study was carried out online towards the end of the fourth quarter 2020. Next slide, please. Next slide. So according to PropertyGuru's consumer sentiment study, the property affordability rating has dipped 5 points from 69 in the second half of 2020 to 64 in the first half of 2021. The rise in property prices over the last 4 quarters since May 2020, fueled by pent-up demand post-circuit breaker, could have led to increased concerns among Singaporeans over housing affordability. Just over half, 56% of Singaporeans remain uncertain about future property prices. Furthermore, the uncertainty of current economic conditions and the job market also play a part in their confidence in choosing to buy a home, coupled with the expectation that prices will continue to rise in the days ahead. The study also identified the need for greater awareness and education around home loan financing, with 50% of Singaporeans indicating that they are unfamiliar with the required paperwork and therefore posing a challenge in them securing a home loan. Other concerns include their inability to afford their down payment, 39% of them, and job and income stability, 36% of them. Meanwhile, nearly 2 in 5 Singaporeans, 39%, are unaware that they can finance their home loans or refinance their home loans. This number is higher amongst millennials, 47% of them, compared to middle-aged and older Singaporeans, which are 33% of them. Next slide, please. At the same time, while the majority of Singaporeans are concerned about rising property prices, a similar number are confident about buying a property in the current market. Our property sentiment index is measured by various factors, such as current real estate satisfaction and overall climate, housing affordability, interest rates, perceived government efforts, and property prices. So the uptick in our property sentiment index was driven by Singaporeans' positive perception of interest rates, which make it relatively more affordable to take out a home loan, and outlook on the property market. Also, the majority of respondents, 96% of them, indicated their preference for physical viewings as compared to virtual viewings. Next slide, please. Singaporeans are calling for a further ease in ABSD, 61% of them polled, buyer's stamp duty, 64%, and lowered upfront payment costs, 41%, despite the various property relief measures introduced by the government, including extended support to reduce home loan payments. Next slide, please. Another useful finding was that 7 in 10 intend to purchase a property in the future, with more than half planning to do so within a 2-year time frame. Next slide, please. Now, the next slide that's coming up will show you a fair bit about millennials. And these are 22 to 39 years of age in Singapore. And this group of Singaporeans are proving to become a dominant force in the property market. Our study found that 72% of millennials are thinking of moving out of their family homes in the next year. And most are establishing proactive financial steps to help fulfill their home ownership dreams. Next slide, please. Now, in this next slide that's coming up, 69% of millennials polled are prioritizing savings for home buying this year over experiences like travel, food, hobbies, and staycations. Over to the next slide. Now, findings from the study further showed that the majority of millennials, 97% of them, would prefer to buy a home rather than rent, citing resale HDB flats as their preferred property type. That's 30% of them, followed by new private non-landed homes, 29% of them, and then private non-landed resale homes, 23% of them. Surprisingly, only 18% are interested in the concept of co-living. As the need for remote work continues, the idea of co-living may seem less appealing among millennials, as this could mean competing more frequently for the use of common spaces or even resorting to working within the confines of the bedroom. So owning a HDB flat, on the other hand, offers millennials a place they can call their own, granting them more personal space and flexibility. They are also likely to be prudent in their housing decisions, thinking long-term with plans like selling the flat after the minimum occupation period to upgrade to private property. Still, co-living remains a great option for the budget-conscious millennials who may not be ready to purchase a property but still want their own spaces or right-size their housing needs. Co-living tenants stand to enjoy enormous savings by sharing common living spaces with a like-minded community. Next slide, please. And in our next slide, we move expeditiously to our property market index report, the second quarter of 2021, hot off the press on the 3rd of May, 2021. And next slide, please. In the first quarter of 2021, prices of private residential properties across Singapore increased quarter on quarter by 3.3%, steeper than the 2.1% growth in the fourth quarter of 2020. For the non-landed segment specifically, the increase was 2.5%, and the increase was driven by prices in the rest of the Central Region, RCR, and outside of Central Region, OCR. The first quarter of the year closed with a 3.84% or 4.3 points quarter-on-quarter increase in our property market index to 117.8 points. Not only is this the fourth consecutive quarter of price growth in the non-landed private residential property sector, but it is also the most significant increase we've recorded since the second quarter of 2018. We saw a 14% or 19 points decline in our property supply index to 116.1 on the supply side. Now, although not as steep as the past few quarters, there has been a consistent downward trend since the third quarter of 2020 as buyers continue to snap up properties. Some new developments such as Normanton Park, the Reef at King's Dock, and Midtown Modern saw superb sale results on their launch weekend. And developers sold 3,493 private residential units in the first quarter of 2021. And this is about a third more than the 2,603 moved in the final quarter of last year. The resale volumes of private residential properties ticked up by 6.4% in the last quarter to 4,519 transactions compared with 4,249 units in the fourth quarter of 2020. So secondary market transactions accounted for 48% of the private housing transactions during the quarter. Prices of landed homes in particular rose by 5.6%, reversing a 1.6% decrease in the previous quarter. Rents of private homes picked up pace, gaining 2.2% quarter on quarter, and fewer homes were available for lease in recent months, and the reduced stock helped prop up rents. HDB resale prices in the public housing market rose 3% in the first quarter of 2021 from the previous quarter. It represents the fourth consecutive quarter of growth in prices despite the COVID-19 pandemic. And HDB prices are inching closer to the peak prices recorded in the second quarter of 2013. HDB resale transactions actually surged 28.6% in the first quarter of 2021 compared with the same period last year when the COVID-19 outbreak started. All these, of course, sparked rumors of looming cooling measures. Next slide, please. But are cooling measures necessary? In spite of some signs that the government could be contemplating a new raft of property cooling measures, are more property curbs actually necessary? And here are 5 reasons we think they may not be needed at the moment. Firstly, property price growth may not necessarily mean a dip in affordability. The various indices have shown that property prices continue to rise, but that might not necessarily translate to property actually being more unaffordable for home buyers. How does that make sense? Well, it is possible that the most recent rise in property prices is disproportionately due to demand for bigger units, which tend to be higher priced than smaller ones. So for example, 60% of HDB transactions were for bigger 4 and 5 room units. There have also been many more landed property transactions. Hence, the recent increase in the average property transaction price could be the result of more larger units being bought and sold. Second reason is this: there are sufficient measures to rule out real estate speculation or real estate punters. The property market is already constrained by some fairly strict cooling measures, in particular, the total debt servicing ratio and the seller's stamp duty. The TDSR, total debt servicing ratio, limits how much banks can lend borrowers in order to ensure that the borrowers do not take on excessive amounts of debt. Under the TDSR, the portion of the borrower's gross monthly income that goes towards repaying debt obligations should not exceed 60%. Also, the interest rate used to assess borrowers is 3.5%. The seller's stamp duty, SSD, is the tax that is levied on a seller who relinquishes a residential property within 3 years of buying it. Depending on whether the property is sold within the first, second, or third year of purchase, the seller pays 12%, 8%, or 4% SSD. These measures work to restrict both demand and supply and discourage speculation on the property market. Thus, what we see in the last 4 quarters were genuine buyers with the ability to purchase. The third reason is this: we also do not need to worry about foreign investors. With the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines and the imminent creation of travel bubbles, many may be concerned about more foreign investors entering the market again. While we agree that foreign buyers may begin to show renewed interest in the Singapore property market, we feel that the present COVID-19 travel restrictions, as well as a heavy additional buyer stamp duty of 20%, are sufficient to moderate the number of foreigners purchasing property in Singapore. The fourth reason is this: after 2021, the market of HDB upgraders may shrink. While the property market has seen healthy demand of late, it is important to look at the reasons behind it. Current market vibrancy is not caused by merely access to affordable credit, as TDSR still prevails, and property buyers are aware that interest rates don't last forever. Low interest rate, that is. Instead, what is causing this uptick in property purchases is the fact that many HDB flats have reached their minimum occupation period in recent times due to the increased supply of BTO, built-to-order flats, from 2011 to 2014. Now, the expiry of the minimum occupation period means that the HDB flat owner is now free to sell his or her flat or rent out the entire unit, and this is typically seen as a good time to upgrade one's home. So there is an ecosystem created to self-feed the market, starting from an unprecedented number of HDB MOPs to upgrading within the HDB resale market to upgrading to private residential developments. And most buyers are Singapore citizens and permanent residents. While these events have caused the property market to boom in 2020 and 2021 so far, such robust demand will taper. After 2021, the number of MOPs will dip in line with the government's supply of flats in the preceding years. The final reason is this. Now that the government's pandemic aid has more or less ended, the market may self-correct. Market confidence in the past 4 quarters was fueled by the government's 100 billion worth of pandemic aid, which averted to a certain extent the worst recession in 55 years. However, most of the government's rescue measures came to a hard stop in the first quarter of 2021, and only very targeted aid continues. So economic reality will start biting, and the market is likely to self-correct. As such, the outlook of the residential property market should remain overall stable and resilient. Of course, the current heightened alert period will pose a temporary setback to physical viewings, which may translate to a longer period for transactions to materialize. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel. It is heartening to know that more than 2 million residents have already taken their first vaccine dose. And when we work hand in hand with the government to comply with health safety measures, the future reality can really be positive. Thank you. And now over to our next speaker, Leung. Leo, over to you.
TK, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Hi, I think we can go to the next slide. Thank you. Again, Cola is very proud to be the platinum sponsor of PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards for the 5th year. The awards give recognition of excellent projects throughout the property industry in Asia. Building a strong relationship with our partners in Singapore, we hope to continue the efforts with PropertyGuru to accredit these outstanding property owners by providing them a platform to facilitate the sharing of great works and projects within the very competitive Asia-Pacific arena. In Singapore, we work with many leading developers, and some of our most recent projects include Park West by Sing Hai Yi, Petit Jervois, Cuscaden Road by SE Global, and more. During this pandemic, we have seen how some of our developer partners have remained resilient and continued with their ongoing residential projects to deliver their commitments to their customers. We feel very happy to continue our effort in supporting them to delight their customers. Asia Property Awards is a good platform to identify and recognize the best talents in the field of innovation and design industry, and we are very happy to continue this partnership with PropertyGuru. Through this platform, we hope to reach out to our present and future business partners and leaders in the property industry. Next slide, please. Cola has a rich heritage of more than 148 years of history. We manufactured one of the first cast iron bathtubs in the world in 1883, introduced the industry's first enameled bathtub, and Vistres China's toilets and sinks in matching pastel colors in 1927. And in the 60s, Kohler excited the marketplace with new plumbing products in vivid accent colors. This is the culture and attitude we follow within the company to drive innovation and always being in the forefront of product development globally. This is also because being bold is a part of our DNA of the Kohler brand. It connotes prominence, bravery, confidence, innovation, and creativity. And we are keen to work with our partners to show the bold design. We encourage design with innovative and creative ideas, and we believe these two elements are important in the design work. We feel that design courage is a key factor in making big changes in the design world. Our developers and design partners have also showed strong interest in our recent product innovation, including the Air Intelligent Toilet, the Avid Dual Sensor Faucet, Malaco Touchless Kitchen Faucet, Waterfoil, and more. As a leader in kitchen and bath, we have more than 42 manufacturing plants in 29 locations in 12 countries worldwide. Kohler has been consistent in offering new standards in design, craftsmanship, and innovation. Our brand's reputation is ripe with compelling accomplishments and bold innovations that stem from a heritage centered on living on the leading edge of design and technology. Our mission is to improve our customers' sense of gracious living in every experience they have with a Kohler product or service. Living on the leading edge of design and technology, we design products that bring meaningful innovations home. So every day, life is as comfortable and as beautiful as it can be. We are pleased to present our newest designs along with some of our most popular on the pages that follow. PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards is the region's biggest and most respected real estate awards in Asia. We believe we have the same synergy to promote and recognize developers that have contributed and done great works in the dynamic markets. Next slide, please. Kohler has initiated many stewardship activities, provided support to those most at need during the coronavirus pandemic, with several charitable causes and initiatives at a global level. Some of the examples include Kohler associates around the world brought their passion and expertise to the fight against COVID-19 by manufacturing face shields in Asia, Europe, and the USA to protect healthcare workers putting their lives at risk every day. The Kohler Relief Trailer was stationed at the field hospital in New York, giving medical workers caring for over 1,000 patients a chance to shower before heading home to their loved ones. Kohler also made numerous donations to humanitarian organizations around the world, such as World Vision, providing communities impacted by the COVID-19 crisis with essential supplies like water, food, shelter. In rural India, where access to water and adequate hygiene is often in short supply, Kohler partnered with Habitat for Humanity to provide critically needed hygiene relief kits to 5,000 village residents near Kohler facilities. Next slide, please. We're very excited to see new residential projects in Singapore that actually utilizes some new design trends in kitchen and bathrooms. And kitchen and bathroom products will center on three main things: optimization, intuitive functionality, and economic trends. Optimization. Urbanization is a global phenomenon that forces us to compress our lives into small spaces. This means squeezing more into less. As a result, fixtures need to have smart built-in functionalities, optimizing our use of space and allowing us to remain decluttered and in control. Intuitive functionality in today's multifaceted and pluralistic lifestyle demands ease of understanding and intuition. Touch interfaces have broken down the barriers between technology and advanced communications, and these have been adopted by people of varying age groups. And the design of everyday objects, where there is perhaps even less opportunity to innovate, has also been somewhat forgotten in favor of fad and trend. We see a new direction gaining strength where customers seek products that are effortless in every sense, to understand, to use, and to live with. Economic. Sustainability has passed a tipping point driven by the convergence of the realities of environmental threat and recession. Skeptical consumers have realized that long-term savings can be made by investing in sustainable products and have converted and adjusted their values to a rational, respectful approach. Hence, economics has converged with ecology. Now, some of our new products include the Air Intelligent Toilet. The Air Intelligent Toilet exemplifies the art of innovation, and its flowing lines and personalized finished detail will make a statement in any bathroom. With a full complement of convenient features, including heated seats, customizable cleansing, night light, hands-free opening and closing, automatic flushing, plus a touchscreen remote, nothing else compares. The Avid Dual Sensor Faucet. Avid is the quintessential expression of today's modern aesthetic movement. It is equipped with precise sensing technology, which provides reliable touchless experience for the users. Avid provides warmth and magnetism to any modern contemporary bathroom. True to its origins and design minimalism, revives a pure way to connect with the eye and the hand. Malaco touchless kitchen faucets with our response technology that provides reliable touchless on-off operation through a state-of-the-art sensor that responds in milliseconds. Malaco features Kohler's sweep spray that forms a blade of water to forcibly wash debris into the drain. Our magnetic docking system, which secures the spray head in place. Finally, Waterfoil. Waterfoil is an innovative solution for hand washing in the public restrooms. With faucet, soap dispenser, and dryer completely integrated into the sink. Because the entire hand washing process takes place within the basin, the surrounding area stays clean, dry, and safe. Waterfoil brings ultimate functionality and cleanliness to the restroom. We're very, very happy to be associated with PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards. Thank you very much.
I think you're on mute, TK.
Thank you, Leo. Let's now head into the panel discussion session of our roundtable today. Before we begin, let me present our panel speakers who will be joining us in this discussion this morning. First, we have Ms. Christine Thorsteins, partner, Portmont Investment Private Limited, and she's also the chairperson of the judges of the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards Singapore 2021. We have Ms. Yen Chong, Deputy General Manager, Qingjian Group Company Limited. Mr. Dora Chng, Sales and Marketing Manager, Fantasia Investment Singapore Private Limited. And Ms. Dora Chng, General Manager, Residential, GuocoLand Limited. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today. And let's start our discussion. And I would like to pose my first question to Ms. Yen Chong. Reaching such a tech-savvy generation would require a shift from traditional marketing to digital marketing. Do you have plans, or you already have to plan to implement new marketing strategies or prioritize online marketing? Yen, over to you.
Thank you, TK. Thank you, PropertyGuru, for giving this good opportunity for us to share our views, during this webinar. So Qingjian Realty actually embraced technology and put it into good practice since 2012. So back in 2012, we launched WaterBay. We were already at the forefront of the technology. We are the first mover to adapt AR, augmented reality, for our floor plans. So buyers just need to download the AR reader and scan the floor plans for the 3D style, but now it's already so-called outdated. So in 2016, so we launched Vision Air, Singapore first e-series smart home. Initially, we are rather uncertain on the receptive level of the buyers on the smart home. Hence, we actually offer to them. Surprisingly, the take-up rate is more than 70%. So hence, subsequently, we offer smart living to every household, and we are also progressing to smart estate management. So slowly, fly-through animation on the snippet of the surroundings of the condo became popular, and it is part of must-do for us during our launches. With interactive presentation kit at a gallery, and this is also helping the agents and helping the potential home purchaser to understand the project even better. So during circuit breaker in 2020, we managed to share the walkthrough virtual show units to our agents to help them in their closing. Not only the units, but also the entire walkthrough in the whole sales gallery. So if you feel like you're actually in the sales gallery moving along from units to units. So quite a number actually of buyers actually bought our units after seeing the virtual show flats and after, of course, the agents are presenting to them. So we even went kind of extra miles to do 3D floor plans for most of the floor so that it makes prospect easier to visualize better on the floor and what are you looking at. And also in 2021, last year, we were the first, I think we are the first, one of the first developers to do Facebook live balloting with celebrity star Irene Ang. So with this, it actually boosts our viewership to about 25,000, during this Facebook Live. So Irene Ang even performed a TikTok dance, but it's not only like what they're going to do during live, but how to keep the viewers in front of the screen most of the time. So, and we did it. We don't know what's going to happen then, but we did it. So Qingjian is actually the first few developers to adopt online marketing strategy during circuit breaker back in 2020. We do webinars to introduce our products so that the agents and potential home buyers are well informed of the product and development. Therefore, we actually market through launches subsequently via Zoom, tied up with various business partners to provide extensive content like market update, market sentiments, because there's lots of uncertainty. Feng Shui talk and economic outlook. So what potential home buyers should look out for due to this uncertainty? So we want our buyers to be prudent in their decision. And also at the same time, every viewer, we actually let them have a chance to win attractive prizes. So this is also one of the ways to retain the viewership. So our response is quite overwhelming, average about 1,000 per webinar, as our target audience also ranges from potential home buyers and investors. We actually maintain a minimum exposure on traditional media as it is part of our brand awareness, while increasing our exposure to online marketing as potential home buyers are getting younger. A click away from the internet is within their grasp.
Thank you, Yen. That's an amazing bag of online strategies you have had for Qingjian and indeed catering to the tech-savvy generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But last but not least, we actually do a lot of traditional advertising, but now it's getting lesser. But there's a platform that's PropertyGuru. That's where actually lots of information can be retrieved there.
Thank you so much. Now we move to Donald. Donald, Singaporeans are looking to buy a home in the next couple of years. They have been deterred by the prices, no doubt. But what measures do you think the government can introduce to help these property seekers?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I think the prices today are, I would so call reasonable. Just let me explain why is this so. Over the past few years, the government has come up with a lot of cooling measures, such as the additional buyer stamp duty, the total debt servicing ratio, and even for EC, the mortgage servicing ratio. And this has helped actually the buyers when it comes to a financial situation like this in COVID-19, that's able to weather through in terms of their financing their homes. So during this period of time, the government also came up with some ability, or the banks help the buyers to so-called divert some of their monthly loan payment. So we do not see a lot of, as developers, we do not see a lot of units being aborted. So thanks to the government for doing that. But if you ask me if we are the buyers looking at government to help reduce all these to increase their affordability, such as loan to value and so on and so forth, I'm not very sure if that is a good idea, because we don't know the next crisis, when is it supposed to come, 3-5 years, or is it tomorrow, that the whole pandemic goes turn worse, that we would see a rather different situation, that people will start to panic sell due to they need the cash flow, or they will start to default on payment, and developers will have a lot of abortive cases. Okay, but nevertheless, some of the price increase has also had to do, especially for the recent new launches, not just buying bigger units, because now that they work from home, and a lot of them go for the typical room plus study area, so that they can differentiate between their work area and their personal space, but partly also the rise in construction costs. If everything would have stayed status quo, the price that is so-called launch price today will be very similar with what has been previously, maybe a year plus ago. But as everybody have read in the papers, that construction cost has gone up quite a fair bit, between 20 to 30%. So if you were to track back 1+ year ago, and for the same location, the price has went up by 10%, I would say that you're damn lucky, because you're getting a steal for it. Because what happens to the other 10 to 20% that is supposed to increase? It has the developer, quote unquote, have so-called absorbed into their profit margin. So whether the government should come up with measures to help consumers, I'd rather keep it status quo now. With all the measures in place, I think we are very good in terms of not just for the consumers, for the developers, and for everybody. And take a period of time to let's observe and see how it pans out. As our government is very good at helping the consumers, whether is it intervening to help to make sure that the property prices are sustainable.
Thank you, Donna, for sharing your wisdom and insights. And indeed, I think the government is also keeping a close tab on the market to see what else would happen, and how they would respond as well. Yeah. My third question goes to Dora, and this is with respect to the trend of working from home rising, and we know that this is likely to be a new normal. How can office buildings adapt to encourage businesses?
Okay, here at GuocoLand, we feel that offices today still play a very important role. It is not, offices nowadays is not just a place for you to work at your desk. Today's offices is more like a conducive place for the teams to brainstorm, innovate, and problem solve. So even more importantly, when we are working on cross-departmental or interdepartmental projects, coming together, just is a need, or a synergy for the teams to perform better. And I'm not sure if any of you have just started work in a new company during the circuit breaker period. I think for most newcomers, it is really important to be able to come in the office and get to know your peers, your colleagues, or your partners in the other departments. This will also be easier for them to learn about the company's culture, form bonds and network, which is very important in today's climate. And while companies are, of course, we hear all the time in the local media that companies are downsizing, they're giving up a lot of their spaces, reducing their real estate. But there are also growth companies who are actually looking at expanding. Many of these include the technology companies like the fintech, the digitech companies. Example, PropertyGuru, you have moved. And during this period, this is quite evident because during this period, in the last year till now, we are still seeing a long waiting list at Guoco Tower. So these companies actually also, needs to compete with their peers, with their competitors for talents. Most of these very talented people, they know these are all options for them to choose, where do they want to work at. Whether it's the company being located in a prestigious Grade A office building, or the convenience for the employees to run errands during lunchtime, whether to have a haircut or to pick up some groceries, or even just to send the laundry off. The 1 hour lunch break is a big benefit. And on top of this, we also realized that, between us here, at least in the panel, many of us are working longer hours now. And there is no real stop to working hours is no longer 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 now, because of our smart devices. We are working longer hours or spending longer time at work. And many of us are also working through cross borders and time zones, so we are spending longer hours in the offices. And at GuocoLand, we also realized that because of these, facilities in the Grade A offices, example, a large public gym, even a pool for the tenants, or a garden, big enough for them to escape to during their breaks, and or even like a dining room for them to host lunches and dinners when they need to. These are all important factors that will enhance, the benefit of coming back to the office as well. Of course, we are keeping to work from home as a default now, but hopefully with more people being vaccinated in the next 6 months, we will be back to the office.
Sorry,
Thank you,
if I can
Dora.
just chime in here, I think it's very relevant what Dora just said. Working flexibly is going to be a staple feature in the future. However, the office definitely has its place. I guess the challenge for developers is, as Dora said, to make the office relevant, to create, if I can say, attractions so that people want to come back to the office. And then all these ancillary things like a gym, like a nice environment, they're all very important. And it's going to be very interesting to see in the future what office developers come up with.
Thanks, Christine. Certainly, there is a competition for talent, and businesses are going all out to woo potential employees. And having a very conducive office environment will certainly augur well in that journey to attract talent. And of course, with working from home, also generating a fair bit of fatigue, both physical and mental, because we work longer hours. At the end of the day, having these very appealing, soothing spots where employees can chill out would definitely be welcome. Also, I hope my bosses are also listening to this.
You don't see it, but I'm actually fending off children here who want to come into the picture. So the office will definitely have its place.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And now we're back to Yen. Yen, my next question to you. With the pandemic affecting consumer sentiment, how have you switched up your strategies to convince buyers into making an investment? Now, COVID-19 has taught us that the real estate sector is extremely resilient, but even so, we have people who may be hesitant to invest. Do you think this would change anytime soon?
Yeah, I do agree that the real estate market is very resilient right now, but I do not agree that people are still hesitate to invest, because look at the property market, look at how hot it is in the last 3 months. So Singapore property trend tends to fluctuate over the past year due to the pandemic. right? But it bounced back strongly across many market segments when phase one lifted. So the pandemic itself has accelerated some property trends and spawned the new ones that present attractive investment opportunities for buyers. A research actually about new home sales have shown that units sold month to month have increased approximately 19.5% right after the circuit breaker. Okay, let's look at the last few years of launch. Let's look at from 2018. So 2018 total number of units sold, units sold as in inclusive of resale is about 27,000. All right, in 2019 is 23,000, but in 2020 is 26,000. Not talk about 2021 first quarter. Just now, I think Tikun did mention about the numbers. So after the pandemic, actually, it really shows that the real estate market has been unduly hammered during the downturn, creating lots of opportunities for buyers to make gains as the economy recovers all the way till 2021. We are still up with the sales. Jadescape is almost sold. We only left with less than 10 units out there, out of 1206. Forest at Bukit Timah, which is launched last year, that I talked about with Irene Ang having to do the TikTok dance, and sold up to 65%. So I guess the numbers tells it all. But why? Why is it so? So underlying that the motivations as to why people around Singapore or the world bought residential property, even though economies are faring poorly, because this is behavior. So COVID-19 has brought lots of about unconfluence of events that only existed individually, but not in totality. Stress, uncertainty, helpless, fear, and with all those video conferencing replacing physical meetings, lots of non-verbal cue like body language and small talk among staff. These are actually a lot of things that is lack of right now. So the combination of these works on the minds of the workers generally, it actually leads to compulsive buying disorder. And of course, people nowadays are more educated. More educated equals to higher income. So it makes it easier to afford to purchase a private property. So in short, private residential real estate, be it for investor or even for home buyers, it's still a demand for long term.
Thank you, Yen. I think you've given us quite a bit of food for thought with respect to investment trends, regardless of the pandemic, and how you have rightly pointed out that consumer behavior is changing with respect to what we are seeing, and of course, the buyers have a different expectations now as they move along in their purchase journey. So I'm going to ask Donald the next question, because this is with respect to the fact that PropertyGuru did a consumer sentiment study, and we discovered about millennials actually saving up to buy a home so that they can move out of their parents in a year. How are you going to appeal to this generation?
I think the recent sales has shown certain trend, especially for the recent new launches this year. Looking at it is in terms of the unit types, all the plus study were very well taken up. Okay, I think personally, I also have that kind of motivation whereby, because a lot of us work from home right now, you wanted to have that space whereby the moment you go in, you're in a mood to work and not share with somebody else. I have 2 kids. All of them are on HLB right now. Each of them is occupying one room. So it's like, if my wife occupy the room, then I'm being kicked out. I have to use the living room as my work from home space. So I'm the one who is the most disturbed. So while looking at new homes right now, if for a single, they'll be looking for a 1+ study, because you do not want to put your workspace in your room. A room is a space where you go in and you want to rest and to do whatever you need to do. And not you go into a room and it reminds you whereby you have a work desk and you say, oh shit, the laptop is looking at me. I still got my phone. As what Dora said, our work, because of smart devices, it keep ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, and you tend to want to open up your laptop and answer that email. So having a dedicated space to do that work is important, so that you go in, you are not disturbed. You can just close the door and do your work in there, or the kids can study in there and do whatever it is. So the additional space to accommodate such stuff is important. At Parkwood Collection, we also see a trend of multi-generation living. As I said, it's not that the space that we have is small, but at the point of time when we purchase, the space is just nice. Okay, but as the family size grew, they need additional more spaces. So we have come across a family whereby he had 4 kids. The couple themselves make up 6 people, plus a maid 7, and lo and behold, the parents are staying with them, so they got 9 in the household, having 4 rooms. So you just imagine the squeeze that they had. Even they stay in a 4-bedroom apartment or 5-bedroom apartment, is going to be a little bit more crazy, because they tell me that they take about an hour plus to prepare for everyone to pay before they can get out. So obviously, they are that one is another extreme group of people, which then the Parkwood Collection would cater for. But as I said, the challenge for developers today is how to create a layout that is efficient, is able to meet the demands of the millennials and the couples today, that they can both have their personal space and their workspace. Maybe a niche, a corner, a study room, or something that they could convert and the two can coexist together. So I think that is the challenge. But the main thing is, while keeping the price affordable. As what the question that you posed to me just now, what is it? But I said I don't need to come up with additional measures, but try to go for a bigger size apartment or bigger size unit, the price would definitely increase. But I think the millennials are definitely will work that out in terms of their finances.
Yeah, thank you, Donna. Certainly, sometimes there's a tension between innovating for more usage within the same given space and affordability, right? Because there's always that conflict, and it calls for innovation, it calls for creativity to how to actually create niches and spaces, in your words, within the family's needs. Because if you have a family as large as 9 packs, then I assume the challenge can be really, really pressing every day. 1.5 hours to take a bath, right? To get everybody ready. Yeah, thank you so much. We go to Dora, all right, and it goes without saying that sustainability matters now more than ever. All right, it's not just a buzzword, but this is really something that is on every government's agenda as well. And what is the impact then of sustainable design in both commercial and residential real estate, and why must we adopt it? Dora, over to you.
Well, due to, I'm not sure if it's really due to the circuit breaker, but our birth rate seems to have increased. So, the larger family sizes do apply. That's also a sustainability issue, yeah, in terms of birth rates. Okay,
New definition of working from home.
Okay, yeah. So sustainability seems to be a very popular topic in recent conversations. This actually reflects a change in the mindset of the current generation. I suppose we support brands that resonate with us and what we believe in. This is actually quite evident while we are leasing our office buildings, and also through the sales of our current residential developments. Sustainability is not just about environmental sustainability, in contrary of what most people think it is, but it is also economic and social sustainability. So it is not just the climate change issues, although this is a big, important issue. There are also pertinent issues of, like, for example, labor-intensive construction sectors, and how we can make the built environment a more productive, more cost-effective, more sustainable through technology and innovation, and one that is safe. So all these are, current issues, and we see more people who are more concerned about it. This is in addition to other ESG factors, such as the earlier, like what I say, climate change, social equality, for example, consumer preferences, which is changing all the time. Like Donna says, now we are mostly work from home plus home-based learning. Oh my goodness. Somebody sent me a animation about home-based learning, and it is abbreviated as Hell Broke Loose. So I'm not sure, but I think I see this in a lot of my friends. There are also regulatory risk and in this. So it is actually really not easy to balance the needs, honestly. For example, in Singapore, the effects of climate change is very apparent. I'm sure we have all noticed, and data has also shown that the average daily temperature has risen by quite a bit, from as low as 1 over degree to over 4 degrees Celsius now. And there are also more intense and frequent rainfalls. You notice it is raining almost daily now, possibly raising sea levels by up to 1 meter. But don't worry, in the next 80 years, okay? So we have a lot of time. Yeah, so the Singapore government has, of course, noticed this and unveiled the Singapore Green Plan 2030 already, which commits us towards a goal of long-term net zero carbon emission. All right, all of us, whether the governments, developers, yourself, myself, have a big part to play in this. And the technology, how we can use technology to help process the data to guide us through and towards what we can all do responsibility in ESG. And I think the current generation of purchasers, they are quite open about, they are quite clear and aware of this. We see this in our recent launch at Midtown Modern, where there is a large garden in the city above the MRT interchange. Actually, many of these buyers have opted to move from outskirts into the city, and because of the convenience directly connected to the MRT, is helping to save carbon emission in that sense. Yeah.
Thank you, Dora.
Yeah.
Those are very helpful insights, and yeah, indeed, home-based learning takes on a new definition for parents. Yeah, I just want to remind the audience to keep your questions coming in the Q&A chat box right at your screen, right at the bottom. Usually that's on the extreme right, and you could click that to key in your questions for the panel. I have a couple of questions that have come in, and I would like to direct this to the panel. And of course, feel free, any one of you who wishes to respond, just do so, please. Home prices have been rising in Singapore despite the pandemic. In fact, in the last quarter of 2020, prices soared the highest in more than 2 years. Can you tell us what drove this surge?
Okay, let me. Oh, okay, I'll mute already.
Yes, Yen, we can hear you.
I believe it's supply and demand, stocks is depleting due to lack of manpower, higher construction costs. People just imagine what will the price for the future property will be. Definitely is higher and more expensive. So the positive actually association between the land supply and land banks of developers will imply that more land is released, developers will absorb it into their reserve. So with the limited land bank that they have, lesser supply will cause more demand, which in turn causes the price to raise up. I think that's And and look at the pandemic now that it contributed to the robust increase of the resale of prices of HDB flats. The construction of HDB flats was also delayed by the pandemic, leading some buyers to choose to buy resale or the private residential estate rather than to wait for the new flats in the build to order program. As a result, this is also part of the increase in buying the demand that led to a sharper rise in prices. March strong sales actually have lowered the stock of the uncompleted and unsold units in the market. So with this depleting inventory has been actually a factor in the continued rise of prices. So definitely, just now I said, I touched on the reason of inflation of construction costs also leads to higher prices. So, and then also the fact that the prices of materials and other costs are continuously fluctuating and creating very volatile in economic growth. So with more immigrants, foreigners, also delay of the units, you can't finish the units in time. So, and also with more, just now, I think I have hear you, Tikun, more MOP people, more upgraders. So with the future that holds unknown, which is subconscious fear of the future. I think the fear among all of this, actually, this is actually part of the reason that actually spikes up the increase of the prices. That's actually how I feel. And the market is now looking for capital appreciation rather than purely yield driven. Therefore, many factors actually contribute to the surge prices in the market.
Yeah, and I think during this pandemic period, many families are reassessing their needs at home. So the reassessment somewhat, pushes the demand a little bit more, and the low interest rate environment is making it really attractive, to buy a property now.
Yeah, I agree with both Yen and Dora. We are seeing increased prices around the world, but I think also a big part of the price increase in Singapore is the confidence that buyers have in Singapore and the economy. Putting money into real estate in Singapore is a safe haven in today's environment, which I think is a big part of the reason.
Yeah. We are actually seeing a more diversified group of foreign buyers in Singapore now, like what Christine has shared, the confidence that they have in Singapore, both financially, I suppose, and also socially. The situation, the COVID situation has been very well handled in Singapore, as it is evident now. We like I say, it's really diversified. We've seen Europeans, typically previously were more the Southeast Asian buyers and the Chinese, but now you see even the Europeans are purchasing properties in Singapore. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Yen, Christine, and Dora for chiming in on that question. And I think yeah, other than the fact that there's a labor crunch and there's a demand, and usually when buyers look back and take a chapter of history, right? Many of them know that this would be a good time to purchase their choice property if they are looking at the prospect of capital appreciation and how prices will appreciate into the future. Because if you take a chapter of SARS, for example, many of those who bought during the SARS period, over the next 5 years after that, they managed to, their properties managed to yield the returns for them. Of course, not everyone, but most of them had very sizable, decent returns.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question, since we are working up our appetite for lunch, right? COVID-19 has prompted us to reimagine how our dream homes should be. Can you share features that homeowners are now looking for?
Actually, I can talk about the smart technology. You know, like recently we of course, everybody knows that in 2016, we actually started the Vision Air, you know, the first EC with smart home. Subsequently, we have our mixed development, La Quest, and also our slowly, and we into this gradually into smart home becomes like a new added feature in a home. So we have done actually a survey, all right, on what actually people need. You know, I think that it's very, very important when you do your marketing and do your research. Like, it's not about the product, but it's actually what people still want looking out for. So actually, a few features that number one, number two is still, even despite Singapore is still really, really safe. Safety is still number one. Secondly is security. These two. That's why we actually implemented these features into our smart home, realizing safety and security are still a priority in development. Other than that, inside your home, we also implemented new features that's outside, which is like smart community, smart estate management to help the MCST to cut manpower and also be more efficient in monitoring the whole development. So right now, the 21st century, more and more potential buyers are looking for tech-savvy home with features and functions that can be incorporated into their daily life, especially like now. All we can do is Zoom from home, working from home, video conferencing from home, and you need space. Like, I think I do agree with just now what Donna had talked about during, like now what people are looking at is space. How to, if let's say there's 5 person in the house, 6 person in the house with 6 set of computers, what do you need? You can't have like a dining table with 6 laptops and people are talking. It's so distracting. So what we do is, how are we going to force? So we foresee actually there's a lot of new features that's going to come out and the new trends, having a bigger homes. In fact, I realized that nowadays the bigger homes, in fact, in Jetscape, the bigger homes are selling really, really well, because I think they realize that space is very important. So also we foresee the trend of smart home back in 2015. So until today, we keep improving. And with smart living, we also incorporate lots of things, good planning and design are instrumental to create a conducive working environment and home environment. And it brings ease and convenience by using like the device that is within anyone's grasp. But of course, fewer people are commuting right now and more people working from home. Smart living is actually the way to go.
Thank you, Yen, for weighing in on smart living. I was just wondering whether the other panelists, you have a view to share as well in addition.
Yes, so I think, yes, space is obviously on top of people's agenda in these times, but I think increasingly smart and sustainable features are going to be in demand. So I think especially the millennials are quite preoccupied with the way things are going for the environment. So seeing thermal controls, energy efficient AC systems, IoT devices that manage utilization of water and even electricity. I think these will be more and more in demand as people see and realize that it's not only good for the environment, these devices also help control utility cost. So I think going forward, this will be, I mean, we're already seeing that this is seen as a nice to have, but I think will increasingly become an essential feature for buyers.
Thank you, Christine.
The other one would be looking at the common facilities that we have. I mean, obviously there are groups of buyers who have a little bit who are more affordable, can go for the bigger houses or the bigger units. But how to then we cater to those who are doing the just nice ones? Say, for example, buying a typical 3-bedroom compact or without a study area and not able to do that. Yeah, I think I'm seeing a couple of developments that's coming up with a little bit, I use the word loosely, not co-living, but it's like a function room that is now open up, you know, for people to co-work or to do that. I first saw this, I think, a couple of years ago in Bangkok properties by Sansiri, especially where they do a lot of the co-living, co-working spaces within the development. So the thing is that these are something that could come back again instead of function rooms being just solely booked by certain specific people, but a function room that is being used as an open space for anybody in the development to come down and use. Also provide the Wi-Fi. I mean, used to be Wi-Fi, open Wi-Fi is the trend, I think about 5-8 years ago. Then we stopped because everybody has broadband at home. I think it's time to bring it back again because of this whole new way of, I use the whole new way of living and working from home. How do we then balance the part on the design in the house whereby maybe not enough space, but you still have a space somewhere in the development that they can work at?
Yeah, so we like literally like what Donald has mentioned. We noticed this very much at Warwick Residence. We have a lobby, right, and the lobby has partition spaces for casual discussions. Okay, and we've realized during the circuit breaker periods that the lobby is becoming one of the most popular spaces for the residents, you know, because many of them are coming out of their homes to work from home out of their home, and yet, you know, feeling safe within the development. So I like to say this, you know, working from home, out of the home, within your own development is actually a big deal. Like what Donna says, the other space that we see very popular. You have to, as soon as the space is open for booking, you know, it's always snap up. It's our networking suite at Warwick Residence, where, you know, it comes like in a style of a boardroom setting, right? Many people are booking these for their Zoom meetings. So because it looks like and feels really good, because like a meeting settings, and it's got a large screen TV for your Zoom meetings. Wow, yeah, these are again, you know, spaces that people are appreciating now. I suppose as we're becoming stricter with outward dining facilities, you know, then how to make your homes a better or easier or a more suitable place, you know, for entertaining your close friends, for example, your relatives. That is another feature that I notice many home buyers are looking at, especially families, extended families. You know, most of us probably can only host, if you're lucky, 8 in the dining room in an apartment, for example. You know, but how do we extend that to our families? So, for example, like Donna says, 9 living in the family already. That's excluding your brothers and sisters with their children coming to visit. You know, so yeah, I think these are also features that we see quite apparent that the recent home buyers are looking for. So facilities like dining rooms in the condominiums are again very popular, because then it gives them an opportunity, you know, to still host from home safely within the private space that they can enjoy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that actually one of my development that we have actually outdoor Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and outdoor Wi-Fi actually, you know, I was just walking, loitering around that development, like looking at what people, you know, trying to chit chat with my residents. So I picked up like 1 or 2 of them, and then I was just walking behind. I saw some of them are like gaming there. Gaming, literally gaming at the, I think at one of the sitting tables, or that was, I think, even way before COVID happens. So it was like sitting there gaming. And then another one I asked, I was walking there, so I said, oh, how is it? What are you doing? And they said, I'm actually working. Better to work, you know, like what, compact or whatever, it's better to work at there, and it's really windy and they feel good. a nice environment with all the trees and all that. And you can look at the pool if somebody is like swimming. So I guess it's actually important for developers to not only take care what is inside your house, but what are you giving to your potential home buyers or your home buyers that may actually value add to them in their future.
Thank you for all the sharing. I think it means that developers are really consumer centric and is moving in pace as well with the evolving landscape of working from home as a new normal. And I can resonate with the Wi-Fi thing, because for me, whether you're working from home or not, connectivity is important, and you need to establish a connection. Right? Yeah. So a good Wi-Fi is going to help with that. Yeah. And so thank you so much. Thank you once again for all your contributions and your responses to the question. And before we go, I'd like to thank our speakers for joining us. And you may have a final parting shot for our audience this morning. So Jules, starting from you, your parting shot.
I just wanted to say thank you again to everybody for your insights and contributions. Very, very useful. And we look forward to celebrating the best of the best in Singapore in 2021 with our awards. So thank you, everyone.
I echo that, man. Christine.
Yes, it's been great catching up with you all. And like I said, I really look forward to the 19th of November when it's all going to be over and we're going to be there toasting.
Great. Wow, that's optimism that we need. Leo?
PK, thank you very much. Again, it's very proud for Kohler to be associated with the Asia Property Awards. I look forward to meeting with everyone in person at some stage. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Looking forward to Leo. It's in Hong Kong. Looking forward to meeting you in person sometime.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yen, over to you for your parting shot.
Yeah, thank you, PropertyGuru, for organizing this webinar. I think it's very useful insight for everyone, for the market outlook, economic outlook, and also for us, we will continue to build better homes, and also for our home buyers. And we continue, like our tagline, we continue to listen, to innovate, and growing with everybody. Take care, stay safe.
Thank you, Yen. Thank you. And Donald, your parting shot.
Hi, thank you everybody for tuning in. I think as developers, we have to be consumer centric, listening to what the consumers have said. From here, I think everybody stay safe. Let's break the trend of the outbreak right now so that we can go back with our lives per normal. At least 5 per group is better than 2, right?
Yes.
Certainly, Donald, certainly. And Dora, over to you.
Yes, and I'd like to say thank you to Asia Property Awards for giving us an opportunity to have an external panel to review our product and to see and recognize our strengths, and also to tell us where we can improve on so that we can continue to build better developments.
Thank you. Thank you all of you once again. And as we draw a close to our virtual roundtable, we would like to acknowledge the support of our esteemed sponsors and partners. Once again, Platinum sponsor Kohler, Gold sponsor Mitsubishi Electric, official portal partner, that's PropertyGuru Singapore, official supervisor HLB, official magazine PropertyGuru Property Report, official cable TV partner History Channel, official charity partner Right to Play Thailand, official ESG partner Bandek Foundation, and official PR partner Clerical Communications. Before concluding, we would also like to remind everyone of our entry timeline and key dates for the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards 2021. So a reminder, our gala and award ceremony of the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards Singapore to announce the winners will also be streamed across multiple channels, including AsiaPropertyAwards.com newsroom, the official Facebook and YouTube channels on Friday, 19th of November 2021, and the regional grand final in Bangkok, Thailand on 9th December 2021. So we look forward to seeing you there. So thank you so much for joining our Virtual Winners Roundtable today for the 11th Annual PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards Singapore 2021. Please feel free to send inquiries to the email on screen and stay connected to the PropertyGuru Asia Property Awards social media channels as well. And for more information, kindly visit our website at www.asiapropertyawards.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, stay positive.